Marian Anderson becomes the first African-American singer to perform at the Metropolitan Opera in New York City, New York. Bill Haynes, The Ballad of Davy Crockett, tops the charts for 5 weeks, and the $64,000 question premieres on CBS with Hall March as host. The year is 1955, and this was the top-of-the-line Star Chief convertible, which could be had at your local Pontiac dealership. But before getting into all of it, I'm your host, Jay. Welcome to What It's Like, the automotive channel that shows you these cars like you've never seen them before. History, specs, design. We post between 4 and 5 episodes a week with engine episodes sprinkled in. If any of that sounds of interest to you, a channel that you will totally dig, subscribe and hit the bell icon next to it to never miss a video. People have been asking me, hey Jay, what do you want for Christmas this year? Well, I already got my 2 front teeth, and I'm not really into hippopotamuses, but I would love to see this channel hit 50,000 subscribers by January 1st of 2025. It's totally free to you to subscribe, and it will open up doors to bigger and better opportunities next year. Also, real quick, next year, I would love to sit down and just talk cars with people called Part of the Conversation podcast. Anybody in the automotive sector, if you would like to be part of the conversation, if you would like to be the subject on the podcast, reach out to me at what_it's_like at yahoo.com if you're interested. 1955 Pontiac model lineup consisted of the Chieftain, which could be had as the Chieftain 860 and the Chieftain 870. Star Chief was at the top, which could be had in Star Chief and Star Chief Custom. Pontiac also offered sedan delivery as well as wagons in Chieftain, Chieftain 860, Chieftain 870, and Safari. Fun fact, the Safari isn't technically part of the Star Chief line because it rides the smaller Chieftain chassis. Wagons could be had in 2-door and 4-door configurations. Pontiac would offer the Star Chief from 1954 through 1966 in 6 generations. 1955 falls in the 2nd generation, which was produced from 55, 56, and 57. 1955 was a big year for Pontiac. 55 was the first year in a long time for Pontiac to offer a V8, but make no mistake, this isn't Pontiac's first V8. Pontiac was originally General Motors companionship make for Oakland. During the late 1920s, General Motors, at the direction of Alfred Sloan, who was the president of General Motors at the time, all General Motors makes, except for General Motors and Chevrolet, would get a companionship make. Cadillac got LaSalle, Buick, Marquette, Oldsmobile, Viking, Oakland got Pontiac. Long story short, Oakland and Viking would have an unusual V8 that they shared with horizontal valves. Oakland would fall on the sword to save Pontiac, and Pontiac's first year, they would use the Oakland V8. Pontiac would replace that V8 with a straight 8 1 year later. Pontiac would use the straight 8 from 1932 through 1954, replacing it with a V8 in 1955. Another fun fact, Pontiac and Packard were the last companies to give up their inline 8 engines, both in 1954. In 1955, Pontiac made a few appearances on the TV show I Love Lucy. General Motors was a sponsor of the show, and they used the 1955 Pontiac as product placement in episodes such as, but not limited to, Lucy Learns to Drive and Bumped Together. 1955 did see a complete redesign, so let's compare 54 on top, 55 on the bottom, starting in the front. Everything is different, but let's talk about some of the similarities between these two, because there are a couple similarities worth mentioning. Both have single headlights, both have the Indian heads that light up on the hood, both have the silver streaks on the hood, but done completely differently. The 55 has a proper wraparound windshield versus just a curved windshield on the 54. Bumpers, front fascia, completely different, as well as hood profile. The turn signals are located higher on the 54. Wheel cutouts are larger and more curved on the 55 versus more oval on the 54. Moving to the side profile, where you can see that the windshield / vent window profiles are completely different. Also notice how much different the fenders and overall sheet metal design is between these two. The 54 has a rear quarter bulge that the 55 doesn't have. Gas filler door is in about the same location between both of these. Both have stars. The 54 has stars on the fins, and they look to be a bit smaller than the ones on the 55. The 55 stars are on the fender and door section. Moving aft, added. At this angle, you could tell that the 55 fender skirts are smaller than the 54. Streaks are added to the fin section on the 55. There are streaks on the 54, but they are on the deck lid. Brake lights have been revised, as well as backup lights. Jumping inside to take a gander at the interior and dash situation, the dash and interiors are completely different. Which one do you like better? Let's talk specs. 210.2 inches long, 75.4 inches wide. It rides a wheelbase of 124 inches. It weighs 3,860 pounds. Price, $2,691, which would be equivalent to you spending $31,695.96 in the year 2024. Total 1955 Pontiac production was 554,090 units, of which total Star Chief was 203,404 units, and of that number, 19,762 were the convertible Star Chief variety. Moving on to engine, only one engine on offer for the very first year, the very first V8 Pontiac made outside of the one that they shared with Oakland, 287.2 cubic inch displacement, overhead valve, V8, 4.7 liters. It was good for anywhere between 170 to 180. I've saw sources say up to 200 horsepower. The higher horsepower figures were when it was equipped with the Hydromatic automatic transmission. That power could be had at about 4,400 RPM, up to 256 pound-feet or 347 Newton meters, around 2,400 RPM, with a bore of 3.8 inches and a stroke of 3.3 inches. Compression was anywhere between 7.4 to 8 to 1, 8 to 1 with the Hydromatic. 5 main bearings. When backed with a 3-speed manual transmission, 0 to 60 could be had in 12.2 seconds, with a theoretical top speed of 102 miles per hour, while achieving an average of anywhere between 13.7 to 15 miles to the gallon. And mileage may literally vary. These are just jumping off points. If you're in the market for a mid-50s, top-of-the-line Pontiac Star Chief convertible, I know a place that has one currently for sale, Classic Auto Mall, Morgantown, Pennsylvania, where they have this car and currently 950 other cars when recording this episode. Anybody can go peruse their inventory, whether that be online or in person. 4 hours of operation, directions, and to get the full scoop and more pictures and information pertaining to this very car, be sure to click the link below after the show. Let's talk styling on this gorgeous car. Check out these bezels. Look how thick they are. Also these, I wonder why they made the hoods like this. It's not quite a hood, it just kind of sits back further. Interesting design choice. Turn signal indicators inside the bumper. Also, just take a look at all of the bright work going on in this bumper profile. There's all kinds of chrome bits everywhere. Pontiac spelled out in block formation on the nose of the car. Also take a gander at these. Beautiful Pontiac Indian Chief that lights up. This car has a phantom center line that goes up towards the emblem. And it's still partially visible. It's very, very faint. That goes towards the wraparound windshield with windshield wipers that oppose. that side bumper profile with these beads, for lack of a better term. The bumper goes all the way to the wheel well. Also know how this flanges out and it becomes the flare for the wheel well. This car does not have rocker trim. It is flared out at the bottom though. Pontiac wheels, wheel discs with this cascading effect going towards the center hubcap. External cowl vent that doesn't open. This car does not have drip rails because it's a convertible. Rectangular vent windows. Side mirrors are adjacent to it. Just check out this stainless piece, as well as these. Laser straight this car is. I love the cream and black combo. Fender skirts are bright. So check out these beads. Gas filler is on the driver's side. It's got an 8 check mark. Brake lights and tail fins, as well as backup lights. Bumpers do not mimic the front bumpers. Totally different profile. Check out these body beads. Pontiac. Antenna is on the passenger side. This door has a lot of heft to it. I don't know if this is a leatherette or a actual leather. It feels like a quality material. Lots of stitching. Armrest as well as door handle to pull the door shut. Door handle to get out. Window crank for the big window. Notice it's all framed out, trimmed out. This is the crank for the vent window. Which operates like that. Coming down inside the pedal box down here, this is handbrake, and then there's a light to tell you that the handbrake is engaged. High beam switch, brake pedal, gas pedal. Just take a gander at this interior. Nice quality sounding shut. Here is what over the hood looks like. Here's what first person over the hood would look like. On to the button switches and knobs, starting on the left and moving right. First gauge, shares, 2 instruments, amp meter at the top, coolant temperature at the bottom, cabin temperature, off, low, medium, high. 120 mile per hour speedometer. Notice all the numbers are going the same way. Left and right turn signal indicators are flanking the odometer. Drive modes read neutral, drive, low, reverse. Fan blower motor control just below the odometer. Direction in which you would like the air to go. Off, normal, de-ice, headlights, choke, key. There is another pod that shares 2 gauges. Gasoline gauge at the top, oil pressure at the bottom. Ashtray, radio. Notice it says Chieftain radio. Lighter and clock. Up above, there are sun visors, and they are on the nice sides. You can have both of them in the up. Yes, you can have both of them
in use and still have access to the daytime, nighttime rear view mirror. On to the Glovebox test. Here's our test subject. Here's my hand for reference. Here is the Glovebox in question. Notice it has cup holder indentations as well as a Glovebox light. And it's absolutely massive, this Glovebox is. And it shuts. Pretty impressive. Getting in the rear, that's all the farther the seat moves up. So that's how much access you have to get back there. Alright, so I'm not getting back there, it's too tight. But we can talk about creature comforts from here. There is an armrest. There's an armrest with an ashtray, as well as window crank for the window, which goes up and down, and it operates like this. Creature comforts besides that, because this is a convertible, it does have a dome light, surprisingly. That's really cool. Dome light with a convertible top. There is not a coat hook, but you can hang whatever you wanted to off the convertible top itself.
Taking a real quick gander under the hood of the heart of this beast. Dual horns, which are mounted to the radiator wall 12-volt battery, which was also the first year for General Motors to have 12-volt electrical system in 1955. Oil bath, air cleaner, generator resting on top of the manifold. On the firewall, it looks like there is a hood light, one that you could pull out and see where you might have a problem in the night. On the positive side, this is the first year of Pontiac's very own V8. Built solid, good performance, great club support. It is not a 55 Chevy. Against it, high operating costs, some body parts and trim parts are becoming scarce. All right, now it's time for Would You Rather. 3 scenarios today. In the first scenario, would you rather have a 1955 Hudson or 1955 Pontiac or 1955 Studebaker? I'm going to leave this here for a minute. If you need more time, feel free, pause the video. On to the second scenario, all Pontiac Star Chief. But which one would you rather have? 1955 Pontiac Star Chief or 1956 Pontiac Star Chief or 1957 Pontiac Star Chief? Once again, going to leave this here for a minute. If you need more time, feel free, pause the video. On to the final scenario, 1955 Dodge or 1955 Pontiac or 1955 Mercury. Once again, going to leave this here for a minute. If you need more time, feel free, pause the video. Now it's time for Name That Tune. First person to get both the name of the band and the song title correctly in the comment section will have their comment pinned to the top of it. Thank you all so much for coming out and watching this. If you'd like to get in touch with me, shoot me a comment in the comment section below. Or you can always send me an email at what_it's_like@yahoo.com. If you want to be part of the conversation podcast, please send me an email and I will get back to you. Till next time, toodaloo! If you've made it this far, welcome to the after party, where it doesn't have a millennial talking about the different things to witness with this design. Just take it all in. There's no sound, no music, but you could add whatever sound or music you would like to listen to in the background. Enjoy.